A seismic shift in global security is unfolding. As tensions in Ukraine rage on, European leaders are reeling from a stark reality. The United States, once the backbone of NATO, may no longer be a reliable defender. Donald Trump's latest statements and actions suggest a warming relationship with Russia and a reluctance to uphold NATO's core principle, collective defense. Is Europe truly prepared to stand on its own? What happens if the US steps back? Stay with us to uncover how this story unfolds, and don't forget to subscribe to stay informed on global developments. Can Europe still rely on the US for defense? For decades, Europe has relied on NATO, with the United States at its helm, as the ultimate deterrent against external threats. The alliance formed after World War II has been the cornerstone of European security. At its heart is Article 5, the principle that an attack on one NATO member is an attack on all. But recent actions from President Donald Trump have raised serious doubts about whether the US is still willing to uphold that commitment. Trump's rhetoric has been unsettling for European leaders. He has openly praised Russian President Vladimir Putin, rekindled direct communications with the Kremlin, and suggested that NATO members must significantly increase their financial contributions or risk losing US protection. His suggestion that NATO's security obligations are conditional has left many European nations scrambling to reassess their defense strategies. The US has historically been the dominant force in NATO, providing approximately 70% of its military capability. This includes more than 100,000 US troops stationed across Europe, crucial intelligence and surveillance operations, air support, nuclear deterrence, and the logistical infrastructure required for large-scale military operations. Without American backing, Europe faces an enormous challenge in maintaining military readiness. Some European leaders are now openly discussing an independent defense strategy. Friedrich Merz, Germany's new chancellor, has stated that his country must prioritize achieving security independence from the US. His remarks underscore a growing realization that Europe may no longer be able to depend on Washington for protection. Beyond his comments, Trump's actions have reinforced concerns. Recent diplomatic engagements have signaled a shift in US foreign policy priorities. Trump's administration held closed-door talks with Russian officials about Ukraine without involving European allies. He criticized Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, calling him a dictator. He repeated Russian propaganda, falsely claiming that Ukraine, not Russia, was responsible for starting the war. He suggested that European security is Europe's problem, stating, "This war is far more important to Europe than it is to us. We have a big, beautiful ocean as separation." These moves have left NATO allies questioning whether the US is shifting away from its historic role as the protector of Western Europe. While Washington maintains that it is not withdrawing from NATO, it has made it clear that the era of unquestioned American support is over. The European response: is independence possible? Europe is now grappling with an uncomfortable truth. It must rapidly increase its defense capabilities. Some European nations, including Greece, Norway, Denmark, and the UK, have announced significant hikes in military spending. The UK recently redirected billions from foreign aid into defense, with Prime Minister Keir Starmer stating that security must take precedence. But these efforts may not be enough. The reality is that no single European country has the military capabilities to replace the US role within NATO. Europe lacks key strategic assets, including advanced intelligence gathering systems, refueling aircraft for extended air missions, and rapid troop deployment capabilities. The continent's ability to deter major threats depends on maintaining a united front and strengthening collective defense efforts. Germany's Merz has acknowledged the urgency, stating that Europe must move toward a self-sufficient defense structure as quickly as possible. Yet, European unity on this issue remains fragile. While countries like France and the UK support stronger European defense, others, such as Spain, Italy, and Germany, remain hesitant to commit to a full military buildup. The future of NATO, uncertain and unstable. With NATO's foundation in question, European leaders are facing a defining moment. The upcoming NATO summit in June may provide some clarity, but many fear it could further expose divisions within the alliance. If Trump continues to undermine NATO's collective defense principle, it may force European nations to rethink their entire security strategy, potentially leading to the formation of a separate European defense force. At this moment, there are no easy solutions. The US remains the dominant global military power, and Europe is still reliant on American intelligence and strategic capabilities. But if Trump's rhetoric turns into concrete policy shifts, NATO as we know it may cease to function in its current form. A new era for European security? The days of unquestioned US military support for Europe appear to be fading. Trump's stance signals a paradigm shift in global security, forcing Europe to make tough choices about its future defense strategy. Can Europe truly become self-reliant? Will NATO survive without unconditional US support? One thing is certain, the global security order is changing. Stay with us as we continue to cover this unfolding story. If you want to stay updated on critical world events, don't forget to subscribe.